Welcome to our sixth edition of the Seafarers Point of View, the interviews that I have organized by Safebridge. Our special guest today is Makhosi. She's been breaking barriers as a female chief officer who is now a vessel superintendent. So Makhosi, welcome. And
Thank you so much.
just in time for Women's International Day. So if you could please just introduce yourself and what you do.
Okay. I am Makhosi Mbokazi. I'm from South Africa in a small town called Izingolweni. As mentioned now, I am a vessel/marine superintendent for a Cape Town-based company here in South Africa. It's a new position that I started in January. So my experience, sure. Really, I've worked almost everywhere, but I started out in 2007 as a deck cadet for Submarine, who was later bought by Maersk. And then I worked for Maersk as a junior officer. And then later on, I worked my way up all the way to chief mate. I worked on ships like drill ships, offshore supplies, container vessels. And I actually am a master for vessels that are 500 gross tonnage. And I've sailed on those as a master as well.
Wow, very nice. It's a great history. So if you can just give me some of your experience being a female on board and trying to make that transition to a shore position.
Well, things have changed quite a bit since I started. I won't lie to you. When I started in 2007, I wanted to pack my bags and go home because it really sometimes was quite unbearable. I was one of the very first, not very first, but like very few intakes of women to go to sea. And it was a new experience for almost everyone on board. So I would say that some people were still finding their feet, in how to work with women and how to actually respect women at sea. But, as the time goes by and the stripes pile up, that means you go up the rank, things start to, you get used to it, you understand it better, and people's mindsets are slowly changing. So it has really become quite comfortable compared to before, but I would say that we still have a long way to go.
Yeah. So did you, when you first chose to become a seafarer as your profession, did you know this?
No,
No.
actually, I grew up in a very small rural area here, and I knew nothing about ships my entire life. And I wasn't really allowed to go to sea or to the beach, even because I'm a twin, and in my culture, twins were not really allowed to swim. So I always had that thing in my head. I'd love to do that, but
Okay.
my interest really was ignited when I was in grade 12. And there's this lady that came to our school recruiting for a local port authority. And well, I was one of the people that were selected and I did an interview. But then when I got to the interview, I realized that, okay, these people are not really going to go to sea long term. They're going to work mostly in port. And that's when I decided to go, my way and pursue a long-term career at sea. Yeah.
So, okay. So you didn't have a family background or anything as a seafarer. So it was more of just the intrigue. So how did you prepare yourself, like with just not knowing anything and then being able to move up to become a chief officer? What kind of skills, like, did you just learn along the way, or how did you do
Mm.
it?
Well, honestly, there's no background of seafaring in my family. I'm the only one. Okay, there's a few kids that have started now in my family that are pursuing a career at sea. Some are engineers and some are actually deck officers, but I am the first and was the only one at the time. And most times I struggled even to explain my experience, to my family, because they really didn't know what I was talking about. They would offer support, but I got mostly support from the ladies that we were recruited with, because they felt the experience, and we got guidance from a very nice lady that was in charge of our cadetship program, Miss Lynn Bruce. She really helped us and prepared us for sea. Before I remember before we left, she actually said to us, "You see these people here in the room. These are going to be your best friends throughout your career. So just make sure that you find a way to work with each other." And really, how I've grown and got to understand and sort of live the seafaring life is really just through learning, from people that are ahead of us. There were a lot of nice captains sometimes and officers, that were willing to assist us, whether it was, emotional, or really work related, and everything really that I know is all just through learning. And when we started, we were not really exposed so much to the internet, so the information wasn't really readily available. Even on board the vessel, if you sent an email home, sometimes you'll find a response in a week or so. So the communication was not even something that was readily available to us. So we had to really find means to just adapt, on board with the people that we are with, and find a way to really be strong. I really had to be strong more times than I could remember, because I remember when we went the first time, we were away for 6 months. We went to overseas countries like Mauritius and China, and we only got home maybe after 2 months, and we couldn't even go home, which was very strange for me. So really, it's all through just learning and now reading, and now with the access to the internet, that and assistance from people that were ahead from us.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Did you notice over the years that your skills change?
Oh
Uh,
yeah.
yeah.
Yes.
So can you explain the growth process in that, your soft skills like growth process? How did
Mhm.
you manage that?
Wow. When you come on board, I think I was 20 when I started, and now I'm 35. So you are very young and very fragile and somewhat emotional.
Mhm.
The cord has just been cut.
Right. Right.
um, so developing the skills. Luckily, there were nice programs on board that were provided by our company where we could learn leadership skills and uh, how to deal with difficulties and all those things. And really, that's how I perfected my craft, if I can put it that way.
Right.
And luckily, also, like I said, we had amazing captains who were great at what they did, and chief mates. The chief mate position, actually, for me, apart from the superintendent position, was
Yeah.
was really the position that I really aspired to. I loved how everybody on board respected the mate. You didn't see the master so often, but you saw the mate quite a bit,
Mhm.
and it was always in charge. Knew what to do, and things like that. And I really aspired to that, and I
Mhm.
loved it. And because I loved it so much, towards the end,
Mhm.
then it was really easier for me to work on it, with the guidance also from our seniors on board.
Mhm.
One of the soft skills that I think I had to really like dig deep into is just really being strong and controlling my emotions, and being able to control stress, and being able to you just deal with what's on board at the time when I need to, and then
Mhm.
dealing with what's at home, when I'm at home. Because when you're in a ship, it's not like your life is isolated and your home life is just, it's like at a standstill, it's stopped. But you have to have the emotional intelligence, if I can put it like that, or um, the wisdom to have the ability to deal with what's in front of you when you need to work on that, and deal with what's at home at the time when
Right.
you can.
Right. Well, that's mostly the resilience and coping under pressure
Yeah.
tools that
Mm.
definitely need to be built, and especially during this time that we have with COVID, this is extremely important. I was
Mm,
reading an article the other day where resilience, the adaptability of change,
yeah.
and coping under pressure are probably the three main skills, especially in 2021, that
Mm,
everyone needs to have, because this is just the atmosphere that we're in. Now, luckily, you've been developing this for the past, what, 15 years. So that's definitely three great skills that that
yeah,
you have.
true.
Um, Now, obviously, your skill set needed to change to kind of pivot a little bit with your new role, which is the superintendent role. Which, congratulations, that's definitely amazing.
Thank you
Um,
so much.
and being, being onshore, you have a different skill set. Well, it may be the same skill set, but it's probably used differently,
Yeah.
because your decisions. Well, you go ahead and explain how does that change?
Well, because as we get to a certain age as women, we also become parents. My children had gotten used to me being away all the time. So they knew that, okay, mom is here now. So let's just, you know.
Right.
And when I'm at sea, we had an arrangement with my family where, which I think worked quite well, where they didn't, overwhelm me with, the little things, basically, and because I was at work. But now that I'm at home,
Mhm.
that's out the
Yeah.
window. So it's like, just bring it on. I'm here now.
Yeah.
So because I'm also working from home, I've had to also adapt to that, the environment, being at home, and being a mother, which has been great. It's a nice change. And because my role is still so fresh and new, and I'm learning on it as well, I've had to really, find my feet. But it's going great. I believe. I haven't killed anyone yet, and my ships are still.
Perfect.
That's
That's a success.
a
Yes.
success.
Yes.
Yeah. So but I've realized actually that working at sea, because there isn't so much resources. When you
Yes.
have problems, you kind of have to find a way to deal with them, the best way you can. Say you have a problem with the engine, engineers will tell you, and then neither part is not here. Let's fabricate something. Let's get to the next port, and
Mhm.
then let's work on it when we're there. So you kind of learn these skills, and they are slowly developed on you because of the
Mhm.
pressure and the work on board.
Mhm.
And like I'm saying, as you change now, it's kind of like, okay, well, let's try something new. Let's twinkle this a little bit, And what I do really, for me, I try to make what I'm going through quite fun, so
Right.
it doesn't really stress me so much,
Mhm.
and I try to get my children to get along, to play along as well. But because now everybody's also busy at school, and,
Mhm.
so I sit in my corner and I say, no, I'm working, and you work there,
Mhm.
you know. So I've learned really at sea to be flexible, and
Mhm.
that skill has actually really helped me quite a bit to
Yeah.
change into my role. And I have to really say that my manager, luckily, is a very understanding man, because he also was a captain at sea for so many years, and he understands the transition. I've been very lucky. Whenever I needed to work ashore, because I've worked ashore before, I always have captains, who were at sea, being my manager and stuff. So it's kind of easy, because when it's time for that management review and you're talking about things, they understand the transition and what you go through emotionally and changing to home. So the support system in the work environment has been amazing as well. Yeah.
That's always a benefit to have, especially in an industry where there's been issues with diversity.
Yeah.
Obviously, there's not a lot of female leaders. And when you have that one male mentor that can actually show you the ropes, who knows exactly what you're going through and can kind of empathize with you and
Mhm.
and teach you how to go, you can learn how to develop even further.
Yeah.
That's an amazing thing to have, and you should definitely cherish that.
Yeah.
Um, well, I I mean, what advice do you have for the current seafarers and their current position? Um, is there anything that you have for them?
Well, I would just say, do what you love. Start there. You know, I had a lot of pressure at home to, go through a certain path, and I feel like if I had done that, I wouldn't, have succeeded to where I am, and I wouldn't be as happy as I am. So do what you love and be open to changes and
Mhm.
possibilities, and work hard, obviously. And have a mentor if you can, someone who is where you would like to be in the future, so that they can guide you. You don't want to be alone, because every career, not just maritime, has its own tricks that you need to learn about, and it's just easier when you have a nice support system as well. But yeah, and don't be so scared of maritime. People I found, you tell them, I'm going to sea. Oh my gosh,
What?
what do you,
Yeah.
you know? Yeah. So don't be scared to try, something new. Take
Mhm.
the roads less traveled. You have
Right.
fun and believe in yourself. You have confidence in your craft and yourself and your abilities, and that's the only way you're going to succeed.
Well, and that you're definitely one of the inspirational ones in the industry, and I do want to thank you for that. Thank you for paving the way for other females to come in and actually have someone to look up to. That's probably something that you probably take for you forever. That's your legacy. You're one of probably the first, right? So that's an amazing thing to accomplish.
Thank you
Um,
so much.
keep on breaking those glass ceilings. Do not let anything get in your way.
Okay, just one thing I'd like to touch on, that
Yeah.
I've seen circulating in the beautiful internet.
Oh,
WISTA and IMO have started this
yes.
amazing survey, um, that is to promote the women in the industry and inclusivity and diversity. It's open to people that have access to data of who is in the company, like people in the HR positions. I would encourage people to really take the survey. The reason for that is to gather information, to see how many women are in the industry and in what positions, so
Mhm.
that IMO with WISTA and forgotten the other company, it's a UN initiative though.
Mhm.
They want to gather information so that they can implement policies and procedures on, how to, get more women into the industry. So that will really be a great help. I mean, the numbers of women in the industry have really increased so far, but like I said, we still have quite a long
Oh,
way to go. So
this
if
is.
people could really just take part in that, it would be amazing.
Thank you so much because I'm actually a member of WISA. Um,
Ah,
yes.
surprised you
um,
didn't pick it up.
yes, I'm sorry. Yes. It's definitely a great initiative. I've definitely taken the survey, and yes, this is something that does need to change. Um, we are taking small steps right
Yeah,
into the right direction, but there is a lot of room to grow, especially when it comes to diversity. Um, this initiative is one of the greats because of the fact they will monitor pretty much and see
yeah.
exactly the status of how far we're getting into with the
Mm,
diversity. So thank you, and I do apologize. I did forget to bring that one up.
not a problem.
I've already taken the survey, and
Oh,
I
great.
encourage everybody else.
Appreciate
Yes.
that.
So
All right.
thank you so much.
It was a pleasure chatting
Uh,
with you, and have a great day.
You too.
Thank you.
Bye
Bye.
bye.